from across the pond at the Evian Championship over in France. It's Golf Digest's own Hally Leadbetter. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Well, first of all, we were supposed to play golf ourselves this weekend. We had a tee time set up on Saturday, and then I got the text message, I got to go to France.
Yeah. Turns out it takes a lot longer to get here than I thought. So I thought, it's like a day trip. No, it's about a 20-hour journey. So
you were watching Colin do his thing yesterday in sort of a more normal hours than the rest of us here stateside. What were your thoughts about seeing this young star take his second major championship?
It was absolutely incredible, Ben. First of all, I will say I've never watched a golf broadcast in French. Highly recommend if you get the chance. Very fun. I really love when they say Robert McIntyre. It's really fun to hear the accent. But it was incredible. I mean, I think I tweeted yesterday about how nice of a person Colin is. I've had the opportunity to work with him a few times, and most of the guys on tour are nice guys. They're solid dudes, but Colin is just on another level when it comes to his humility and his respect and how just great he makes you feel. He's such a wonderful person to be around, and it's so heartwarming, to say the least, to see somebody who's such a nice person have so much success. I mean, for him to win 2 majors in his first 2 appearances, like the PGA, first time there. Open Championship, first time there. He didn't play too great at the Scottish Open last week. He said it was, a really good thing that he played, though, because he was able to figure out the grass and sort of how links golf works. So that was a good decision. I'm sure a lot of guys, will look at that going forward if they're ever hesitant on playing in the Scottish Open and sort of take that advice. But it was really great. I'm so happy for Colin and his entire team.
Hally Leadbetter joins the show. You know her from Golf Digest and Golf TV as a host and producer. And Hally, you're an accomplished collegiate player yourself. I know you played college golf. Colin played college golf, 4 years at Cal, an All-American all 4 years. And not a lot of players on the PGA or LPGA always go and play collegiate golf. So how do you think Colin's time playing at Cal prepared him for this moment?
Yeah, college golf, I will say, golf is one of those sports where it's like a gymnastics or a swimming. If you go to college as a gymnast or a swimmer, you don't have any aspirations of turning professional. Where golf is just is one of those games where, you saw Phil Mickelson. He won 50 years old. So you can play really at any age. In college, if you are not winning, consistently winning, every junior golf tournament that you play in, you are silly not to go to college, because the competition is so incredible in college. A lot of collegiate players even get invites into professional events. So there's no sort of, if I go to college, am I losing time? It's one of those things that, hey, let me go give it a go. If you happen to absolutely be crushing college golf, you can leave. I mean, look at Tiger. He went for a year to Stanford, and he actually said it was his biggest regret not finishing at Stanford. So I think golf is one of those really unique sports where going to college can actually work in your favor, like it did here for Colin.
Now, Hally, TJ Jefferson here grew up loving Collin Morikawa. He affectionately refers to him as the mechanic because of his crafty skills around the Chevy Chase Country Club where he learned how to play. So I know he's all in. Mm-hmm. But for the casual golf fan, for the golf fan who maybe isn't so familiar with what Colin's doing or what's going on in the scene right now, how does his emergence help you think bring in some of the casual fans not like TJ?
Oh, yeah. Well, Colin, first of all, I mentioned earlier, just the nicest guy. And also, listen, I've been in golf for my entire life, really. And it's very rare to see somebody who's so personable and has so much personality. Like, you got a Phil Mickelson, for example, but I don't know if you guys caught, I'm sure you did, his acceptance speech yesterday. For him to go to the crowd, like, how's everybody doing? And then immediately congratulate the low amateur. He's just such a star. He's got that star power, and he's so young, which is incredible. A lot of times those people or, sports stars kind of grow into that, and then they get comfortable in the spotlight, and then they come out of their shell. But Colin, he's out there. He's ready to go, and he's just such a wonderful guy. I saw on Twitter was kind of floating around a picture of Colin a few weeks ago in the Memorial playing with a yardage book that had the pride flag on it. So he's very progressive. He's very open. He wants to grow the game to different demographics. He's just a really great guy, and I'm so excited to see what he's going to continue to accomplish.
Hally Leadbetter joins the show. She's gone from the Evian Championship over in France. You know, of course, from Golf Digest. Ben Lyons in for Rich on the Rich Eisen Show. Hally, you had a great video that really broke down the DeChambeau and Kepka rivalry. This Bryson-Brooks thing that's taken the golf world by storm. For the passive golf fan, not TJ, but for the passive golf fan, break down this whole Brooks Bryson thing, and is it good for golf as they head into the Ryder Cup?
The Brooks Bryson thing, I do believe is good for golf. I do think it's a little overplayed. So it kind of started out, I'll sort of just, touch on a few points in that video that you just mentioned, Ben. So apparently Brooks said that they had an agreement and Bryson broke it. For what that agreement is, we aren't quite sure. So that's what sort of started the animosity, if you will, between them. And then things just got, progressively worse. There were little quips here and there, whether it was Brooks not seeing a single shot of Bryson's U.S. Open victory, and then there was the Twitch stream thing that Bryson said about how many majors that Brooks had won, and then it escalated to where Brooks was giving an interview a few weeks back, and Bryson walked by and muttered something. It's sort of unclear exactly what it was, but something I believe Brooks said something along the line about putting, and Bryson said you just got to put a good roll in it or something like that. But Brooks rolled his eyes as Bryson walked by. That footage was not supposed to air, but someone leaked it on social, and it sort of blew up. So I think initially we all kind of suspected that there were maybe not the best relationship between the two, but that really confirmed everyone's suspicions. But I think it's good. I think it's good to have a little rivalry. I do think that it is, it is real. A lot of people also sort of think that maybe they're sort of, making this up for the Player Impact Program, which is that program that the PGA Tour put in place to really encourage players to, be a little bit more active on social media and get their name out there. I think that they might be playing it up for that purpose. There's $40 million up for grabs, so they might be playing it up for that purpose. But I do think that, that they really don't like each other. And I think it's fine for golf. I mean, it can be a little overplayed, and I think, there's certain times when it's like, oh, my goodness, guys, let's just give it a rest. But overall, I think it's good. I think it's good for our sport to have a little bit of drama.
Getting back to Colin and what he was able to accomplish this weekend, we often, Hally, are introduced to young stars in golf and being told, oh, this is the next guy, this is the next Tiger, this is what the sport needs. And what's sort of the next challenge for him as you look forward to what he does now that he's a two-time champion?
I think he's just going to have to, just continue to stick to his game. He's an incredible iron player. He's come close over the last few weeks. I think the Scottish Open didn't go that great for him, but he just needs to stick to his game. I mean, he's got a great coach in Rick Sessinghaus. I spent a lot of time on social media the last few days, but Rick Sessinghaus tweeted yesterday that Colin is just sort of like the perfect player in terms of he looks at everything as a challenge and he treats the game with honor. And I think, a lot of these young players, like I mentioned before, have a problem once they get in the spotlight because they don't know how to handle it. But Colin clearly knows how to handle it. He was kind of born for this. So I think he just has to, stick to the process. And I think this guy has a lot of major wins in the future for him.
Hally Leadbetter joins the show from Golf Digest, of course. Ben Lyons in for Rich. This is the Rich Eisen Show. And, TJ and I were talking about this before the show started, about how golf is having this new moment, Hally, this new energy around the game from new brands. You see it on people's shoe choices from Air Jordans and, exclusive Nikes. You're seeing off-whites on the tour. How do you describe sort of the new golf energy that's taken place within the game? And is it seeping into the LPGA and PGA tours?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. It really is what golf needs. I think it's kind of funny when, I've been in golf for a really long time, and when people kind of, get upset about the fact that that people are wearing hoodies on the course or joggers on the course. And I'm like, how do you guys expect to grow the game? Like, we have to evolve. We have to, push forward. And that includes our fashion choices. It's not just going to be chinos and polo shirts all the time. And that is a turnoff for some people to play golf. And if we want to stay relevant and continue to grow the game, we need to do that to attract this younger generation. So, and it's definitely showing up on the tours. You'll look, I mean, I'm sure out here this week there'll be some really cool fashion choices, like you mentioned, the Nikes, the people wearing Air Maxes and Jordans, and then you look on the tour and a lot of joggers, a lot of hoodies. I think it's great for golf, and it's honestly what we need to do to continue to grow. We really do need to change the perception of the sport, and fashion is a way to do that, whether people like it or not.
The energy around the sport is palpable right now, but it's such an interesting time historically in the sport because of this unprecedented run we've had of this condensed major schedule. You had the tour changing some stuff around, and then, of course, the global pandemic. Now we've had, 6 majors in a very short amount of time. Colin's won 2 of them. How do you think history will look at this run of majors in the world of basketball? Some people say the bubble is an asterisk. Some people say the Dodgers didn't really win the World Series. Whatever it is in other sports, how does golf kind of participate in the world-changing conversation?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that it needs to be noted that these championships were held in an unprecedented time. It's different playing not in front of fans. Like, it just is. That being said, the other players are doing that as well. So it's not like a certain player has an advantage or a disadvantage over the other. It's still a major championship on a major championship course. There are just no fans. And some players are better at handling that than others. Some players, there's maybe a lack of pressure if you're a young gun out there and you've never played in front of huge major championship crowds. That probably works in your advantage. If you've been out there for a while and you get a lot of energy, I know Ricky Fowler talked about getting energy from the fans, then that works at a disadvantage. So, I mean, factors are different for everybody. I don't think that it is an asterisk in the sense that it doesn't count or it's not as impressive, because it is. I went to the Masters in November during the pandemic, and it was just a wild experience to have no fans out there. I am grateful that I got to experience Augusta that way. Would I want that to happen again? Absolutely not, because there's just something incredible about having fans at the Masters or really any tournament. So, yeah, I think that there's an asterisk, but it doesn't necessarily take away from the wins at all.
My favorite, Tony Finau, is knocking on the door. I finished the top 15 showing across the pond. What's going on with Tony? And talk to me a little bit about his star power.
Oh, Tony is so close. He's won that one event. Tony is another, kind of similar to Collin Morikawa, just very humble, very down to earth, hard worker. My dad actually used to work with him, so I kind of grew up around Tony. And he's going to break through eventually. He's gonna. I mean, I was about to say, I said break, and it reminded me of his accident that he had in that par 3 contest at the Masters. But that's an example of Tony. I mean, they turned that into a Nike commercial, and it was hilarious. So, Tony, he's going to get there. I have faith in Tony. I think, it's only a matter of time. He's putting himself in the position, and Tony Finau will win a big golf tournament one of these days.
Hally Leadbetter joins the show, Golf Digest, GOLFTV. Ben Lyons in for Rich on the Rich Eisen Show. And I would imagine Hally being a Ledbetter, working in golf, it's kind of like being a doctor. If you're at a dinner party where someone says, "Hey, I know you're a doctor, but can you tell me about what's going on with my shoulder?" Or, "Hey, what's going on if I can't sleep at night?" People try to get that free medical advice. So being that you're a Ledbetter in the golf world, are people coming up to you constantly and saying, "Hey, what can I do with my swing?" Or, "What's one golf tip I need to work on my game?"
You know what's funny? They are, Ben, and I don't know if they think that, like, the golf instruction is genetic or what, but I am not the person to ask. If you were like a semi-good player, or you need me to like look at something, if you're like, "Hey, my swing gets a little closed at the top, can you check it out?" Like, absolutely. But if you just want me to come out and like give you some advice, I am not the person. But if golf instruction is a gene, my 2 brothers have gotten it, so it must be a male gene because they are fantastic golf instructors. But me, it just did not pass through the family to me.
Last thing here on Colin. Do you think that his hardcore fans like TJ and all the people who grew up watching him play all those years in Glendale? Like, do you think they're satisfied or do they want more? Is he chasing something?
Oh, I think they want more. I think this is riling people up, all the Colin fans, that not to say that his first major, a lot of people win one major and then it's like, oh, okay, cool, they won a major. But this guy is going to be around for a while. So I think this is firing up Morikawa fans, and they're going to expect Colin to contend like from here on out.
But that's what we thought about Rory. And it's been 7 years now since Rory's won a major. And I feel like we often get introduced to these young stars in golf and they say, this is the guy, this is the next one. And they kind of flame out. So what are your thoughts on where Rory's at with his game right now?
He said to me the other day, like, oh, if you want a guy to shoot even for a major, I'm your man. I mean, he has the talent. It's there, but he just can't seem to like put those rounds together consistently. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with him. I'm a big Rory fan. I think he's great and obviously incredibly talented. I mean, what a golf swing. I could sit there and watch it for hours. But yeah, I'm not right now I put my money on Colin over Rory to win a major for sure.
Well, Hally, we appreciate you checking in from over at the Evian Championship. Enjoy France is the best excuse for missing a tee time I've ever gotten from anybody. This past weekend.
We will reschedule that.
Yeah, I look forward to playing with you when you get back. Safe travels. Thanks for checking in.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, so much.
Hally Leadbetter from Golf Digest joins the show.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.